There's a Japanese system that turns ordinary people into disciplined machines. It's simple, almost too simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Undisciplined people spend their lives dreaming, but never finish anything. We all know someone like that. They start a new job, only to quit within weeks. Let's talk about William. At 30 years old, he was sitting in his tiny Detroit apartment, holding his fourth resignation letter in just 2 years. He ran for 2 days, took a week off, and then never ran again. His girlfriend had recently left him because, in her words, he never finished anything. At 30, he had no real accomplishments and just $847 in his bank account. That night, he started researching how disciplined people think. He knew motivation had already failed him 1,000 times. Then, he stumbled upon the Japanese 5S concept, and one idea in particular stood out: Shitsuke, a form of discipline that sustains itself. He learned that Toyota workers could follow the same processes for decades, not because they had superhuman willpower, but because their environment was expertly designed. Their systems made the right behavior easier than the wrong one. William realized his whole life was a series of constant internal battles. Get up or hit snooze, go to work or call in sick, train or skip it. All these decisions were draining his energy. William looked back and saw he had spent 30 years stopping the moment anything felt unpleasant. Day 1 took him 20 minutes. Done. Day 2, the resistance kicked in. His mind filled with excuses and negotiations, but he applied Gaiman and sent them anyway. After 2 weeks, 1 rejection. After 3 weeks, 2 more rejections. But something new was happening. He was being consistent. Then, in week 4, he got his first yes. It was just a $300 job, but it wasn't about the money. It was proof that consistency works. A few weeks later, he gained more clients. In 10 weeks, he had 7 clients and actually had to stop sending emails because he was too busy. Within 3 months, he was earning more than he had at any of his previous jobs, all built on one tiny, daily action. For months in, his main client canceled their contract, wiping out 40% of his income. The old voice in his head resurfaced. See, you're not made for this. But this time, he trusted the evidence. Consistency works. Instead of panicking, he increased his daily goal to 10 emails. Within weeks, he landed 3 new clients, and soon he had more work than before. The obstacles didn't disappear. They just became manageable through consistent action. Next, he decided to tackle his health. William had always tried extreme routines, strict diets, intense workouts, and failed within days. This time, he started small. Run for 100 meters every day for 30 days. People laughed at him, but he didn't care. 1 is greater than 0. Day 1, he felt like he was going to die. Day 2, pain was everywhere. Day 3, it rained historically, his favorite excuse. But he applied Gaiman. Rain isn't an emergency, and he ran anyway. After 30 days, He wasn't fit, but he had built the habit of consistency. Nine months later, he was running 10 kilometers, 3 times a week. William was living proof. His life was improving simply because he didn't create gaps in his effort. He landed a big project that required a 3-week trip. No routine, no familiar environment, no triggers. The old William would have quit or used the trip as an excuse to stop. But the new William adapted. He used the hotel treadmill instead of the street, woke up earlier, and worked from his room. He realized Shitsuk builds the external systems, but Gaiman builds the internal discipline for when those systems fail. By the 3rd week, he could maintain his habits anywhere. The discipline was now inside him. After a year, William was earning more each month than he used to in 6 months. He had run hundreds of kilometers and kept his habits for 365 days straight. His confidence didn't come from ego, it came from evidence. He did what he said he would do. 18 months later, he had a stable business, a healthy body, and a clear identity. When people asked for his secret, he'd tell them, "I started so small it was impossible to fail." 5 emails a day became a business. 400 meters became a 10,000 run. Two years after he started, he ran into his ex-girlfriend. She told him he seemed like a completely different person. She was right. He wasn't the man who quit everything. 2 simple habits, sending emails and running, had completely rewired his identity. If it doesn't feel too easy, it's too big. Gaiman is what carries you when the system fails. Thinking I don't want to is not the same as I can't. He learned that obstacles are normal. Problems never stop. Consistency is your only weapon against them. Progress is invisible at first. You have to build the foundation long before you see the results. Only scale up after the habit is stable. And never allow yourself to have a 0 day. Even 10% effort keeps your momentum alive. He didn't get there by chasing big dreams, but by repeating tiny actions until they became who he was. He then started mentoring young men who lacked direction. He didn't try to motivate them, he challenged them. Pick one tiny action and do it for 90 days. Many failed, but those who didn't changed their lives. For one young man, 10 push-ups a day led him to join the army. For another, reading 5 pages a day led to finishing 12 books in a year. William realized this system wasn't about productivity. It was about dignity. Keeping small promises to yourself rebuilds your self-respect. People entered his program feeling ashamed and left standing tall, not because of their achievements, but because they had proved they could finally trust themselves. William's story is about a man who started with $847, 0 discipline, and no direction, who completely rebuilt his life through Shitsuk and Gaiman, small systems and persistent endurance, applied every single day. Thanks for watching.